My name is Michelle. I'm sitting on the wooden steps outside a dive center in a distant land, the setting sun painting the sky a beautiful shade of purple. The ocean breeze carries the salty scent of the sea, and I can hear the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. It's hard to believe that just a short while ago, my life was completely different. I remember the day my world shattered like it was yesterday. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, my wedding day. The seaside town of Santa Monica was bathed in sunshine, and the sky was a brilliant blue, as if nature itself was celebrating my union with Ethan, the man I had loved for 6 years. The small St. Joseph's Church was decorated with white lilies and soft music filled the air, creating a solemn and romantic atmosphere. I was in a small room behind the sanctuary, nervously adjusting my veil in front of a large mirror. Lily, my best friend since high school, was carefully smoothing out the wrinkles on my wedding dress. "You look like a princess," she said, her eyes shining with joy. I forced a smile, my heart pounding with excitement and nerves. 6 years of love and anticipation had led to this moment. Suddenly, a commotion erupted from the front of the church, shattering the dreamlike atmosphere. Lily and I exchanged a worried look, and she quickly rushed out to see what was happening. A few seconds later, she returned, her face pale. "Michelle," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's his mother." Before I could ask what was going on, the door burst open, and Mrs. Thompson, Ethan's mother, stormed in. Her face was red with anger, and she was clutching a crumpled handkerchief in her hand. "Thief!" she screamed, pointing directly at me. "You stole my diamond necklace, the family heirloom." I was stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I don't understand," I stammered, my voice breaking. "I've never even seen that necklace." But Mrs. Thompson wouldn't listen. She insisted that she had left the necklace in the dressing room that morning, and that I was the only one who had been in there. Just then, Ethan appeared. His face was tense, and his eyes were filled with doubt. "Michelle," he said, his voice cold. "Is it true?" I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. The man I loved, the man I had trusted with my life, was questioning me. "Ethan, I swear," I said, tears streaming down my face. I didn't do it. But Ethan's doubt was like a wall between us. He stood there, silent, as his mother continued to berate me. "If you have any decency, return it now," she shrieked. "Otherwise, there will be no wedding." The air in the room was thick with tension, and I could feel the eyes of the guests on me, judging me. I looked into Ethan's eyes, hoping to see some sign of trust, but all I saw was doubt. In that moment, I knew that our relationship was over. "If you can't believe me," I said, my voice steady, "then we shouldn't get married." Without waiting for a response, I grabbed my father's arm and walked out of the church, leaving behind a trail of shattered dreams. Outside, the sun was still shining, but it felt like a cruel mockery. I felt like I was in a nightmare, and I couldn't wake up. Lily had called a car, and we drove away in silence. I couldn't bear to look back at the church, at the life I had lost. We went to Lily's house, where I collapsed on the sofa, my wedding dress crumpled around me. I felt empty, like a shell of my former self. Lily tried to comfort me, but nothing could ease the pain in my heart. Over the next few days, Ethan tried to contact me, but I couldn't bring myself to talk to him. I needed time to heal, to come to terms with what had happened. And then, a few days later, I received a message from him. He said that his mother had found the necklace. It had been in her own purse all along. But it was too late. The damage had been done. I decided to leave Santa Monica, to start a new life somewhere far away. I booked a one-way ticket to a small island in the South Pacific, where I hoped to find peace and healing. When I arrived, I rented a small bungalow on the beach and spent my days exploring the island, taking pictures, and trying to forget about the past. It was during one of these explorations that I met Jake. He was a freelance photographer, a few years older than me, and he had a kind and gentle spirit. We started spending time together, and he taught me how to take better pictures, how to see the beauty in the world around me. One day, Jake told me about a friend of his who was running a dive center in Thailand. He said that they were looking for someone to handle communications and take pictures of the activities. At first, I was hesitant. The idea of moving to a new country, starting a new job, was terrifying. But then I thought about everything I had been through, and I realized that I was stronger than I thought. I decided to take a chance. So, I packed my bags and headed to Thailand. When I arrived, Mark, the owner of the dive center, greeted me with a warm smile. He showed me around the center and introduced me to the team. Everyone was friendly and welcoming, and I felt like I had found a new home. My work at the dive center was challenging but rewarding. I spent my days managing dive registrations, answering emails, and taking pictures of the divers underwater. At first, I was clumsy and inexperienced, but with the help of Mark and the team, I quickly learned the ropes. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, I began to heal. I started to see the beauty in the world again, and I realized that I was capable of so much more than I had ever imagined. I made new friends, learned a new language, and discovered a passion for photography. One night, as I was sitting on the beach, watching the sunset, I thought about Ethan and the life I had left behind. I realized that I no longer felt angry or sad. I was grateful for the pain because it had made me stronger. It had taught me to trust myself and to never let anyone else define my worth. Looking back, I know that my journey has been a long and difficult one, but I also know that it has been worth it. I have learned that sometimes the things that break us are the very things that make us stronger. And I have found a new sense of purpose and happiness in a place I never thought I would be. So here I am, sitting on the steps of the dive center, looking out at the ocean. The future is uncertain, but I'm not afraid. I know that I have the strength and the courage to face whatever comes my way, because I am Michelle and I am a survivor.